In 1969, a group of astronauts changed the world. They walked on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In 1972, our journey ended. We've never been back. 2010 begins a year of change. Private companies are working on next-generation spaceships. Governments are looking to go back to the moon and on to Mars. It's time to look up and dream again. It's time to push humans into the cosmos. It's time to educate and engage the planet. It's time for Spacevidcast.
Welcome to Spacevidcast, episode 309 for Friday, March 12th, 2010.
You're like, I got this for some day that today is.
Well, I did. I totally cheated. I looked up at my clock. I'm like, bam, what's the date? A quick reminder to everyone before we get into who we are. The Spacevidcast show
Don't
is,
mind us.
Whoever these two fools are. The Spacevidcast is based on Coordinated Universal Time, which is kind of like a Greenwich Mean Time, but cooler. And
But correct.
But correcter. Not deprecated. So that means that we do not honor daylight savings time for the show. We are always at Friday, 2 o'clock a.m. Coordinated Universal Time. Some of you across the planet will be honoring daylight savings time, and some of you will not. Coming up next Sunday?
On Sunday, the 14th.
This coming Sunday. Which means that come this Sunday, the show time for you may or may not change. If you change your clocks this Sunday, then the time for the Spacevidcast show will be 1 hour later. If you do not change your clocks, then the time of the Spacevidcast live shows will not change for you. And some people are like, why don't you just change your time to daylight savings time? Well, not everyone changes their clock, and believe it or not, we're down to 50.1% of Spacevidcasters are from the U.S.
We used to be
That's
way up at 70%.
Well, it was 60. It was closer to like 60, 65.
Crazy.
It's actually, we've grown in worldwide audience. Not the audience has shrunk, but the worldwide audience has grown, which just really goes to prove that we had to pick a time zone that was central to everyone, and that's Coordinated Universal Time, and that's why we do that. And as Eva mentions, that is awesome, and it's great to see that we have a worldwide audience. Why? I have no idea. They're like us in Russia.
I'm pretty sure it's Leo and all of his friends.
It could be. We are your Spacevidcasters. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me is the beautiful, lovely, wonderful, and talented Carrie Ann Higginbotham, who will be leaving tomorrow morning, early in the a.m. before the sun rises. Well, not quite.
No, it's like 9.
That's way early for me.
I know it's before. I know you don't realize that there is a 9 a.m. But for the rest of us, yeah.
Carrie Ann will be going to South by Southwest. There's going to be, on South by Southwest's top 25 panels you should not miss is the panel she will be on, which is Moon 2.0, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. So you'll be speaking on Moon 2.0 with GLXP Amanda, with Mast in Space, with
Nick Skitland,
and
Veronica McGregor is our moderator, so I'm technically not speaking with her.
You're speaking at her.
Yes, she's asking me questions and I get to spew out info. It should be really good. It should be a lot of fun. There's actually quite a bit of space things going on at South by Southwest this year. I was very impressed. There's a couple different movies. There's Hubble 3D that's coming out over there. Hubble 3D IMAX, I'm sorry. There's a Mars movie. There's a couple other things a couple other talks that are going on. Richard Garriott actually is going to be there throwing a big party and stuff like that. So there's quite a few things that are going on. Hopefully I can make it to them. And thanks to our director, Kef, I now have my own little camera in which to capture info.
So what we're going to try to do is anything she captures, we'll attempt to, after she comes back, because those files are pretty large, we'll try to make available for Epic-only subscribers. There will not be a public version of any of this available to anyone. So,
Well, not from us. South by Southwest, though, does have their own broadcast.
Oh, well, there you go.
So we can't rebroadcast them because of all of their different things.
Rules and regulations. But if you want her inside stuff, Epic users only.
Yeah.
And before we get into space news, I want to put a call out to space geeks and designers really quick. And for those who don't know, Firefox 3.6 was recently released. And Firefox 3.6 has a personas section, which are basically themes for Firefox. Kath, can you go to my computer really quick? Check this out. This is the Firefox. This is the Firefox. The problem is, so when you search for, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to search for space personas here. And this is the world's longest HDMI cable, so hopefully this will actually work. So here you can see these are the different, look at how painfully busy and ugly these are.
They're just boring.
They're terrible.
They really are.
I mean, you can't read that text.
Yeah, I mean, even the pictures themselves are kind of lame.
And if you made this, I'm sorry for insulting you, but seriously, all of these are terrible. So my call to the space community is make something it's elegant and subtle and spacey and awesome, so you can still read what's going on, but you have just a touch of space in there, just a little bit of awesome added into Firefox, just so it's kind of like
you need an SVC theme, dude.
Just kind of like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome too. Just a Spacevidcast theme. Sure, you can add our logo into it, whatever you want to do, but don't go all out to this gaudy stuff where we're like adding big planets and big stars and doing these big, huge black on things.
Well, because you only get this much of it anyway. It's kind of like saying you only get this much video or this much video. If that's all you saw.
Look at this one. Look at this one.
Boring.
It's like a mostly blue background with a giant pink giant pink banner at the top. Exactly. Look at that. Who thought that looked good? This doesn't look good either.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, these are terrible. So that's my call out to all space geeks. Someone, please, I am begging you. Someone, please, build a decent Firefox theme for space nerds, so we can distribute it amongst everyone. We can throw it on Eva. We can throw it on the Launchpad. We can throw it on Spacevidcast, maybe even This Week in Space, just so that it's a little something awesome for when you're looking at Firefox.
A little awesome.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and get started with some space news. Space news. Calf was on top of that. I was like, bam! He was like, I'm hitting that button. Exactly. Oh no, we're missing the easy button. What's going on?
I don't know.
So really quickly, we've got. I didn't talk about our guest. That's all right. We'll talk about our guest later.
We'll talk about our guest when we have our guest. Just ignore him till then.
First, the ISS could be extended. Well, could be extended. Those words aren't quite right.
Those are more definitive than.
That's too definitive than what we're really talking about here. There are talks of. They're basically testing equipment to see if we can extend the International Space Station to 2028. That's a little bit more accurate.
There's people who want to extend it, and they've been thinking about it really loud in their heads.
Yeah. So the U.S. is talking about the current death time of ISS is 2015. U.S. is looking to push it to 2020, and then our space partners, Spartners.
Our Spartners?
Spartners?
Spartners.
I think Spartners works. Our
this
Spartners.
Is Spartner.
Nope. Nope.
You know what? If anything, I got my director to laugh, and that's all I care about right now.
I don't know. So our Spartners are trying to see how long we can actually keep the ISS flying, which is epic kick. Thanks, guys. Which is kind of a cool thing if you want the ISS to keep going. I guess I'm not in favor or against the ISS. The ISS isn't necessarily bad. I personally just don't want the U.S. to take the brunt of pain to keep it going.
Yeah, I think our backs are heavy loaded enough. We've put a lot into this thing. We've put about 300 toilets into this silly thing.
I think Russia put the toilets in.
We keep putting more toilets in.
We do. We
Not
keep
sure
flying
if
them
you've
up.
noticed.
Yeah, exactly. We've paid for like 80% of it.
Right, exactly.
And, if our Spartners want to continue to help to keep it flying, I'm going to keep using that word.
I know you are.
Keep it flying. That's fine, but then everyone needs to start paying more, not just us.
Just because China is like, hey, wouldn't that be cool if it was, maybe they should be donating a little too.
Did you say China?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think China's on the... Japan, maybe.
Right, but we could open it up to more people.
Well, yeah, but we're only talking about the current partners that we've got today.
Fine.
We're
All right.
talking with our current partners.
Right, but you would think that China would like to become a partner.
No,
I'm not
I
trying to
don't
sit
know.
there going, it would be really
China,
cool if we
no. China's launching their own space station.
Well, that's all right.
I'm still waiting for. I'm trying to stall because what Jeff said. Here's something QG pointed out the other day that hadn't occurred to me. The problem is, for anyone who doesn't know, and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Awesome.
Fantastic,
Thanks for Jeff.
All right. So that's that. There is a remote possibility that we could extend the International Space Station past 2020,
right.
Possibly even on to 2025 or 2028.
That's assuming that all the fair partners now want to put in their fair share.
Well, even beyond that, they're testing the equipment to see if the equipment can go to 2028, what it will take to actually bring it out to 2028, beyond 2020. So there you go. The Falcon 9 firing, there was a test firing of the Falcon 9 engines. It was supposed to last about 3.5 seconds, and we've got a clip of it. Here it is. This is the Falcon 9 test firing. And I have to stall a long time because it's like a minute into this thing. But here you can see the Falcon 9 upright, really cool. Now, it was not supposed to lift off, ever. It was This was not an actual launch.
Right,
it was not a lot.
just a rocket fire.
You got it. So they were just going to light them up.
Which we've seen before.
Yeah,
although usually the rocket is on its side. That really very much so ensures it's not going very far. And it just kind of spews stuff out.
Yep. So actually, Kath, could you do me a favor and drop the chat room just
so we can see the
yeah,
bottom
because I think the little poof is going to happen underneath the chat room. So what happens here is they actually had a cutoff of the test firing itself, so it didn't actually go. They would. Oh, you can't. Yeah, just. No. You just make sure that they. There you go. You got it.
Ta-da!
Right, that shouldn't have restarted. Anyhow.
The video he's seen.
Yeah, no, the video didn't restart, did it? Yeah.
All right.
So Jeff is saying in the chat room it was supposed to. There we go. So boom, and that was it. That was not what was supposed to happen.
As opposed to the long, drawn out.
Well, yeah,
right?
what we were supposed to see was actually a 3.5 second firing of the engines.
Okay.
And then it was supposed to abort after that. However, they did kill it. The firing that you saw was not actually the engines igniting; it was just burn off. So yeah, they didn't. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, and that's kind of a bummer. But this is why we test.
Right.
And it was still kind of cool because they actually did get it upright and they did get ready to actually fire the engines. And actually it was a successful failure in a way in that they caught a problem, the system shut everything down, stopped the fuel to the engines, stopped the engines, and it just goes to show some of the reliability of the Falcon 9 in that it's not going to just, try to launch and then explode up in the air.
Right.
So, at least hopefully.
Kind of like the Mars rover getting its little tire stuck.
Only on a much more grandiose explosion-y type scale.
Right. There.
Explosion.
A good thing happened to be a bad thing.
And finally in the news, there is talk on Capitol Hill of extending the space shuttle to 2015. Now you kind of know our opinions on this. I'm kind of with Dr. Griffin on this one. I know. Weird.
Every once in a while, Jesse Ventura makes a good point too, all right? It happens.
But my thought process on this is, and while a lot of people will disagree with this statement, I don't think that the space shuttle is as safe as it could be. I do think we should retire the space shuttle, and I do think that the current path, well, that's where Dr. Griffin and I kind of agree. Okay. Where we disagree is that I actually think that the current path laid forward by NASA's proposed fiscal year 2011 budget is not necessarily a bad thing. And now some people will say that, the space shuttle is in the best shape of its life. It's been running flawlessly. It's great. We've got all these safety measures in place. We finally understand it. And that's absolutely true. But you know what? It's still 70-year-old technology, and there still is not a launch abort system on the thing. That you just can't take the capsule off, unlike a rocket where you can just fly away from your payload and whatever. There just isn't anything like that. So in my personal opinion, I think that the space shuttle needs to retire. Capitol Hill kind of disagrees a little bit. There's a proposed bill that will extend the space shuttle to 2015 and resurrect parts of Constellation, specifically the heavy lifter, I believe Ares 5, and Orion. Now, it's possible that, so we've got, this extreme over here and this extreme over here saying no more Constellation, no more Orion, no more Aries, no more nothing,
Right.
all gone, all commercial. Then we've got Capitol Hill going, no, extend the shuttle, Aries 5, Constellation. So it's not passed. Nothing's passed into law yet. Anything's still game. I have a feeling that we're going to meet a little bit closer to the middle than the two extremes that we've got right now.
Right.
Obviously, I have no information. It's just personal speculation. But I have a nagging suspicion that what we're really going to be looking at is maybe the Orion surviving, sticking that on top of maybe a Delta IV Heavy or something like that.
Right.
I don't know what, human rating some other vehicles and seeing where we're going to go from there. I have a hard time believing that we're actually going to move forward with an Ares 5 just due to the extreme crazy cost of developing that. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll continue to watch it. Eventually it will be passed into law one way or another. Something's going to be passed into law, and that's the track that NASA is going to take. However, at this point, they're still starting to wind down Constellation, shut down the programs, return Orion over to Lockheed, and
which means that the T-shirts are on sale at thespacestore.com.
Yep. Use code SVC.
SVC will get you an extra 10% off because right now they're hovering right around $10. So I suggest getting one now because if anything, it's a collector's item.
When we return, Sean from NASA is going to be talking about launch water, and as you guys know, we've covered as many of those special water events. We did the
One Drop.
One Drop.
And we did the Twestival.
The Twestival, you got it. And continuing on, water is a very important thing in our lives, not just for us here, humans here on Earth, but also for...
And L-Cross, yes, thank you, Vax.
Exactly, Vax. It's very important for us humans here on Earth, but as well also for space travel. We cannot go to the stars if we cannot bring water with us, or at least find water there. So this will be a very important conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Once upon a time, a special few dinosaurs were given a gift. Something that set them apart from everyone else. Flying. If dinosaurs could speak, the orthodox among them would have dismissed the entire notion. Big deal, they would have told themselves. There's nothing up there but empty space. Every good thing in your life is here on the Earth. Food, shelter, company, not to mention greenery. Up there is absolutely nothing. But a strange thing happened. The dinosaurs on the ground died out 65 million years ago. And the ones with the gift of flight, the ones who pioneered the empty space above their heads, well, they're called birds. What's more, there are twice as many species of birds as ground-walking mammals, meaning the flyers have found twice as many ways of making a living in the sky. And flyers, be they birds or flying mammals, live longer than groundlings. Is nature trying to tell us something? Is there another empty space waiting for the flyers among us? Come to the National Space Society's International Space Development Conference in Chicago, May 2010, and wave the other dinosaurs goodbye. Bring space to life by bringing life to space.
Slowly but surely, we're covering all of the different conferences. So we did the Space Up.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We did Space Up San Diego. You're going to South by Southwest. Then we will have ISTC. Hopefully, we'll be able to broadcast there. And then hopefully Space Up DC near the end of this year. So it'll be really cool stuff. Joining us now, we've got Sean from NASA. Sean, it's Herron, I believe.
Yes.
Hopefully I said that right. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a total idiot. Space Vision. Thank you.
Easy.
So Sean from NASA is joining us talking about launch water. So Sean, welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about, first off, how do you pronounce your last name? Is it Herron?
No, it's Herron. It's like the bird, but with 2 R's.
Oh, thank goodness. Really worried I got that wrong. So tell me, what is launch water and why does it matter?
Okay, well, launch water is this really innovative kind of form, a sustainability form that NASA, along with partnership with USAID, the U.S. State Department, and Nike, is holding next week at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It's going to be from March 16th through March 18th. And what we're doing is we scoured the planet for 10 innovative, disruptive technologies, processes, anything having to do with water sustainability and water sustainability issues. So we found these 10 great emerging ideas, emerging technologies that we're going to bring in, and then also have 40 council members who are experienced in different, completely, various different areas of business, technology, venture capitalists, marketers, all these different areas. And so we're going to bring these innovators with these technologies and these council members who have all this experience together in this forum, and allow the innovators a chance to kind of showcase the technologies they've developed or the processes that they've developed, with the hope of being able to kind of make connections and see, maybe there's a person who is specializing, in agriculture in developing countries, who's from USAID, or who is working to help market new water treatment techniques for farms in California, and they'll be able to make that connection, kind of showcase ideas and showcase different and kind of trade kind of just these connections. So we're hoping to foster and accelerate the development of these technologies and these processes by giving them the resources they need in order to make their ideas come true.
So it seems kind of like
awesome.
Almost like a TED Talk for water. Would that be an accurate way of describing it?
Yeah, and actually, I think kind of the initial idea, the initial idea came from Robbie Schingler and Beth Beck and Diane Powell at NASA, and I think that's kind of where they got this initial idea. It's kind of like a conference, bar camp, TED mixture of different types of conferences, and so it's kind of really just an opportunity for all these people to get together, discuss these ideas, and hopefully have some meaningful connections and some meaningful progress come out of it.
But why does NASA care about water? I mean, they seem to care quite a bit, right? Because L-Cross was searching for water. Huge announcements about water on Mars and on the Moon. We have entire rovers, millions of dollars spent finding water on these alien bodies. Why does NASA care so much about water?
Well, first of all, a lot of the stuff that NASA does on the International Space Station and in developing long-term space missions, manned space missions, has to do with water sustainability and sustainability of our resources. For instance, on the International Space Station, they recycle all of their water from urine, from water vapor in the air. It's all recycled and reused. And so, developing these type of technologies, first of all, for NASA is great for future space missions, and using the technologies we can hopefully find here to hopefully be the technologies on the next vehicles that might take us to Mars or beyond. Additionally, we have to NASA is really focusing on kind of fostering technology development. That's kind of a huge part of NASA's new push. We just got our new Chief Technology Officer, Bobby Braun, who will be at the conference, and so we're really trying to foster technology development, and through our partners with USAID and the State Department and Nike, we're hoping that they might be able to pick up on some of these ideas as well. And we really feel that the Kennedy Space Center is the perfect background for this type of event, considering how many historical technological developments have happened there. We think that we kind of fit perfectly into this role of helping to host this event.
Help me out with one of them. So NASA makes sense, and you said Department of Agriculture, I believe, but Nike? That one seems kind of like just like an odd duck out, right? I mean, why Nike? What's their role in all of this?
Well, Nike has actually really recently had a huge push in sustainability. You know, they use quite a bit of water apparently in the development of their apparel products and their shoes and et cetera. And so they're hoping to, you know, maybe find some technology or help foster technology that they can use in the development of their products. And so they actually, you know, this whole push for a sustainable kind of corporate social responsibility push from them fits perfectly into the mission.
Huh. I had no idea. And I had always been wondering that, right? Because I've been hearing about this, and then, yeah, it's like, and Nike. Okay. I mean, yeah, good for Nike, but I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not against it.
Yeah, I don't see the fit.
It's kind of funny because on the website we have, you know, the NASA logo, the U.S. State Department emblem, and the USAID logo, and then we have, you know, the Nike swoosh.
So what's the end game here, right? So we go there, you go there, you do the conference, you've got these great innovative ideas, but how do these ideas get into play? What happens from that moment forward? How does it get out of talk into action?
And that's kind of the second part of this whole idea behind launch. After Launch Water and after we have this great conference and all these great connections are made, we're going to move into a phase called Launch Accelerator, which is kind of this long-term fostering of these technologies, you know, keeping in contact with all of the innovators, keeping in contact with all the council members, and, you know, kind of helping them through their process. You know, when an innovator may have a problem finding, you know, someone to help market their idea, or an innovator may have a problem finding, you know, someone to help them with a technical problem that they just can't get over. We're hoping to use this network of Launch Accelerator to help them make the right connections to people that will help them solve their problems and hopefully help them bring their product to market.
Nice.
I
have an idea for the next launch.
Yeah, what?
Launch SVC.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm totally.
What is it?
What are the different launches? So you've got Launch Water, Launch, the one you just said was like Launch Go Again.
Accelerator?
Oh, I know, I was thinking like, Launch Railgun.
That's
not it.
That. Launch Make Go.
Launch Make Goer. So what other launches do you have, or just the two?
Well, Launch Accelerator isn't particularly a specific event. Launch Accelerator is kind of a long-term plan or long-term networking method to bring the innovators from Launch Water kind of into the broader, hopefully one day, launch community. And so at each, you know, different launch event, after the event, they will be brought into the Launch Accelerator community and able to have all these different connections. We haven't announced any future launch events, but there are definitely, you know, a lot of different topics that we can talk about in the future, dealing with, you know, all the sustainability problems that we have on this planet.
Well, it's not just this planet. I mean, we have sustainability problems on this planet. And freshwater, you know, you look at the planet and it's mostly water, but freshwater is a scarce resource. We've got it locked up in a bunch of ice. But if we're going to continue to grow as we are as a species, we're going to need more fresh water. Especially, you know, us in the U.S., we don't have to deal with that quite as much. Although you can start to see it in places like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But then even outside of that, when you think about traveling out to other worlds, going onto the moon, back to the moon, onto Mars, you know, near Earth objects, things like that, we're going to have to take water and resources from Earth up there with us. And, you know, we need to find a way, exactly as you're saying, we need to be able to recycle most, if not all, of that water, because you can't just bring tons and tons and tons of water with you. We don't have enough fuel. The size of the vehicle would be so enormous.
It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's, you know, I think it's an important thing to be educated on. As a space geek, you have to be a water geek as well.
Yeah, and, you know, just kind of, you mentioned, you know, sustainability of water, you know, when we're going to other planets and stuff. And some of the technologies that we have at the Launch Water event next week really can kind of strike at these core ideas. I know one of our technologies deals with irrigating fields, and they actually use special pipes that they embed underneath the fields that are lined with some sort of membrane, and they can fill those pipes with wastewater, sludge, any sort of, you know, water that wouldn't be fit to drink. And the special membrane on the pipes actually filters the water as it permeates out of the pipe, so only pure water is able to get out. And so they can irrigate an entire field using basically, you know, runoff water from any sort of, you know, industrial plant or anything like that. And then we also have another technology which is also for growing plants. It's a type of hydroponic technology that grows crops in a vertical configuration and can apparently save 95% of the water used in producing these plants. And so there's a lot of stuff happening with sustainable food growth, sustainable water use, and then also with water testing. We have low cost water tests. That is a technology being developed where they can develop a little strip of paper that they can put into any sort of water source, and it will test it for contaminants. And these tests are hopefully one day going to be under 10 cents per test. So we can distribute them in wide swaths of developing areas to allow people to really quickly test their water to make sure it's clean to use before they drink it.
Nice.
2 points going back. You'd mentioned the tube where that allows the water to filter through, but I'm just thinking, okay, that's cool for the water, but think of the other end where all the sludge is coming out, because that has to go somewhere, right? That's going to be nasty.
I love how your brain works.
It does. It works in weird ways.
Apparently.
But the other one is, you mentioned growing plants, essentially. You said vertical, but did you mean horizontal or vertical, or on top of themselves?
It's growing plants on top of each other. It's called verticrop. It's featured on our website, which is www.launchorg.com. If you click on the Innovators tab, there's a list of the 10 innovators going to be at the event next week. And one of them is called Verticrop. And they've developed a technology that allows them to literally grow the crops on top of each other, I believe. I'm not sure of the specifics, but hoping to find out next week and share it with you all.
So how can others watch as well? Because I believe you guys are streaming this online, but if I wanted to watch and participate in this, how could I do that? Uh-oh. I think we lost him.
Oh, no. Well, I have the answer to that, at least a little bit. Here you go.
Called it.
There, yeah, but that's the website where you guys can go to, and I know that it's not exactly an easy URL to remember, so I'll put that in the show notes so at least you guys can get that a little bit later. But my understanding is that it is an open webcast, and so that anybody can see it and anybody can watch it, and and the thing is that because of the format that it is, I don't know if it's going to be a little bit more TED or a little bit more unconference, so I'm not really sure how much information you're going to get out of this, that, and the other.
It's going to be unTED.
But thank you. But it should be really cool in either way, because you have like these people who are looking for the people who have the ideas, and you have the people with the ideas who are looking for those other people to make it actually go, and you're getting them all in the same room at the same time.
Now, the other thing to note, and
awesome.
We're trying to get him back, but we may not be able to. Waiting for, he's just working on it. So, as Treble says, stretch. Other news in water.
Actually, what I was interested in thinking was, I wonder if One Drop would be interested in hooking up with Launch Water at all. Because One Drop is international, and Launch Water, of course, right now at least is just a KSC, so it's just national. But that would be an interesting kind of thing to sort of put together. Just giving you guys a couple things. First, we're going to try to rebroadcast it if we can right here on Spacevidcast. And I believe they're going to try to have some people in our chat room as well. So if you ask questions in the chat room, the hope is that then you'll be able to ask your questions of people out there actually at the conference also. So you'll be able to kind of participate, hopefully a little bit like what the unconference was supposed to be. So we got you back, finally. The wonders of using an air card.
Yeah, I switched over to my Wi-Fi. I guess the air card wasn't performing as well as I had hoped.
It's okay.
So we were just talking about, before we lost you, areas that people can go, and we know that there's a live stream. We're going to try to cover it, and I believe you're going to try to have someone in the chat room as well to ask questions of whomever's out there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be the person probably doing that. I'm going to be tweeting the entire event. I'm actually hoping to be launching a blog on NASA.gov soon about my experiences at NASA as an intern, and then I'll be blogging about Launch Water there, and then I'll also try and be in the chat room if I can. I'll be on my air card. I don't know how well it will work, but I'll try and feed any comments, questions you guys have into the discussion as it happens.
Cool.
Really, trying to make this a participatory type event where we're able to kind of solicit ideas, questions, comments from the public, and give them directly to the people who are developing these technologies. And so it's really exciting stuff that we're doing. You can tweet us. I think I saw it in the chat room. You can tweet us at launchorg, which is LAUNCHORG. We're using the hashtag launchh2o
Clever.
and on our website. Yeah, our website is www.launchorg.com.
So you'd mentioned that you're a NASA intern, and by the way, where's my coffee? I expected coffee. So tell me a little bit about what your role in all of this is at NASA.
Okay, well, I guess my internship really isn't like most other internships. I'm actually an undergraduate student at Syracuse University in New York, and I'm doing a semester program here in Washington, D.C., and I'm working with Beth Beck at NASA. Basically, I just called her and I said, hey, I really love the work you do. I entered a contest when I was in high school, the NASA's Greatest Fan contest, and I was a finalist in it. And so that's how I kind of initially got on the connection to her. And I said, I really like, what you guys are doing at NASA. I'd love to take part. And she said, sure. So I'm here at NASA for the spring semester. I'm here for 6 months, working on social media outreach in human spaceflight, as well as helping out with the launch event and the Open Government Initiative, which is how I met you guys at Space Up last week, coming out and going to the Space Up conference. And so really, it's kind of a really cool experience for me, as a student. This is where I want to be. I want to go into space policy work, and so I'm kind of getting a firsthand experience with it. And really, they've kind of just let me run and do what I want to do, which kind of brought me onto to your show right now.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to lose you shortly. I can tell by the way Skype is breaking up. I can smell it in the air. So really quickly before we go, one last time, where can people get more information? Your website, Twitter accounts, email, stuff like that.
Sure thing. We are tweeting at launchorg, LAUNCHORG. Our website is www.launchorg.com. And hashtag is launch H2O. So you can reach us through any of those mediums, and if you guys have a chat room up, I will definitely be involved, and I'll definitely try and take the comments, discussions, questions, anything from that, and pass it all along to the innovators, to the council members as the event takes place.
Awesome. Sounds great. And Spacevidcast will attempt to rebroadcast that along with the chat room as well during the event, so stay tuned to Spacevidcast, or you can go to the launchorg.com website. Yep. That's like saying /.org and get more information there. Sean, thank you. We're actually going to hang up on you. If you can get your air card back, that would be awesome. I'd love to talk to you in post-show as well. If not, we'll work with Wi-Fi audio only. But we're going to let you go, and thank you so much for joining us.
Great, thanks for having me.
Great, thank you. And before we close out the show, a couple other things. On March 25th, I believe, there is a, we're allowed to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
The event from, I don't remember the event. You're going to have to help me out here.
It's from Chris Radcliffe.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about? Well, no, I have to find it too.
Stall. This is the great stall.
Okay.
Science at the Edge of Space. It's a presentation by the San Diego Space Society for the San Diego Science Festival. It'll be Thursday, March 25th from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'll attempt to cover that. See here, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to run right into our show. So what's going to happen is we're probably going to start a little bit late. We're going to broadcast all of that. We'll make the chat rooms available there. It's going to be awesome. And so make sure to join us live for that on March 25th. We'll have the Launch Water event live here on Spacevidcast.com.
Which is the 16th through the 18th. So 16, 17, 18.
So we got a lot of really great things coming up. Make sure to sign up for Spacevidcast Epic, which helps us pay for doing all of these events.
But then you get to see them too.
You get to see them too, absolutely, and you get some cool behind-the-scenes stuff. It's actually integrated right with the video, so in the same place that you would see like a launch video, when you're an Epic member, additional content just immediately becomes available to you underneath the other stuff. It's pretty cool. You get a different player that doesn't have any ads in it. You get high-resolution video immediately. You don't have to wait for the YouTube encodes or the blipping codes. So it's pretty cool stuff. It starts at like $8 and some odd cents per month if you sign up yearly, or it's $10 per month if you do it on a month-to-month cycle. And you can do that via any major credit card, or if you've got a PayPal account, you want to use the PayPal account. Although we don't like PayPal. Use a credit card if you can. PayPal is just mean to us. So that's our show for this week. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Before we go, really quick, someone brought up this link in the room. See this?
Yes.
Yeah, these are the Nike Apollo astronaut Buzz Aldrin rocket hero shoes. This was back when we were talking about the Nike stuff. Can you go to my computer screen really quick? I know you queued up the. I'm sorry, but check this out. Aren't those cool? Don't you just want some? Look at that.
No, I really don't. I mean, they're cool.
What? You don't want it? Can you see me? You could see me wearing those, though.
I really don't want to see you wear them.
What? Those are awesome. They're like black.
I have to see you wear them?
They're like black sneakers with the moon on them. Look at that.
Yeah, I do like the inside. Go back up again.
Right there?
I like.
Oh, with like the footprint in there?
Yeah, I do like that.
That's really awesome. This
yes,
is
Buzz's
awesome.
PR machine never sleeps.
All right, on that note, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching us this week. Once again, a reminder, I know we told you in the beginning of the show, but everyone always complains because you're going to forget. We'll tweet it out. We'll make sure it's on the blog. The countdown clock on our site will be correct as well, but if you change your clocks, the show will be 1 hour later next week than it is this week. So you need to remember to tune in an hour later than you would this week. If you don't change your clocks, there is no change in the show time for you whatsoever. The time of the show is 2 o'clock a.m. Friday mornings, Coordinated Universal Time.
My philosophy is you should just be here anyway.
Oh yeah, just
so
hang out, watch children's programming via NASA TV. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.